beneran,
Muslim
guys.
leader against Muslim leader.
Ay.
We see Libya, Muslim leader against Muslim leader.
Oh.
We see Yemen, Muslim leader against Muslim leader. When will this end?
Kapan
How
berakhir?
can we help the Palestinians if we quarrel among ourselves?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I have to say this, because I attend so many of the summits and all we do is give declarations of support.
After more than a decade, an Indonesian president returned to the UN podium. Now, these 5 points show why President
5 poin.
Prabowo's speech is about more than symbolism and why it matters.
The strong do what they can, the weak suffer what they must. We must reject this doctrine.
Right, well, he's 72 years old, and he has the youngest running mate, who is Gibran Rakabuming Raka, who is the son of the outgoing President Joko Widodo. He's only 36, and this is the youngest that any running...
Well, the Indonesian president has sent a very strong message of peace speaking at this year's UN General Assembly. Essentially, he focused heavily on the conflict in but that
Gila guys, dunia lagi gemetar sekarang. Negara-negara NATO yang biasanya merasa paling kuat di dunia tiba-tiba mulai melirik ke arah Indonesia. Semua ini gara-gara keberanian Presiden Indonesia, Pak Prabowo Subianto, yang tampil begitu tegas membela umat Islam dan menunjukkan kekuatan negaranya. Pertanyaannya guys, kenapa sampai NATO pun ikut terkejut? Yuk, kita simak video ini.
After more than a decade, an Indonesian president returned to the UN podium. Now, these 5 points show why President
5 poin.
Prabowo's speech is about more than symbolism and why it matters.
The strong do what they can, the weak suffer what they must. We must reject this doctrine.
President Prabowo took aim at the Thucydides logic that stronger states dominate weaker ones. By stating right is right and wrong is wrong, he called for a rules-based world where justice protects the weak, not just privileges the poor. Now, this is what got him a standing ovation.
Oh, mendapat
We
tepuk
must
tangan.
have an independent Palestine.
Iya, iya.
But we must also recognize, we must also respect, and we must also guarantee the safety and security of Israel.
Oh,
Only then we can have real peace.
Most Muslim majority states emphasize Palestinian rights,
Yeah.
and Prabowo did too, but he went further, and rather than condemning only one side, Prabowo insisted on a two-state solutions, even taking them back to the very beginning by citing that they are both descendants of Abraham. And that it's a balance that makes Indonesia stand out as a potential mediator and not just a partisan voice.
Not with just words, but with boots on the ground. Indonesia is prepared
Oh.
to deploy 20,000 or even more
20.000
of our
guys.
sons and daughters to help secure peace in Gaza or elsewhere.
Many leaders call for peace, but few offer boots. Indonesia is already a major contributor to peacekeeping efforts, and
Yeah.
President Prabowo's promise of 20,000 troops or more under UN command is a rare move which is truly commendable.
Langkah yang
This
terpuji.
year, Indonesia recorded the highest rice production and grain reserves in our history. We are
Okay.
now self-sufficient in rice, and we are starting now to export rice to other nations in need. We are building resilient food supply chains, investing in climate-smart agriculture to ensure food security for our children and for the children of the world. We are confident in a few years' time we'll be the granary of the world.
Officials
Okay.
project 2025 rice production at 34 to 45 million tons, with reserve stocks reaching 4 million tons.
4
And that's
juta ton.
double last year's reserves. And that
Oh.
is a bold signal to the world that Indonesia can contribute to alleviating hunger globally.
mengurangi
And that's a
kelaparan.
subtle message that the global south should now watch Jakarta closely. Now,
Therefore, we choose to confront climate change not by slogans, but by immediate steps. We are committed to meeting our 2015 Paris Agreement obligations. We aim to achieve net zero emission by 2060.
Now, from law to peace to food and then energy, President Prabowo's speech threads principle with capability and is Indonesia's way of telling the world, watch us now.
Well, the Indonesian president has sent a very strong message of peace speaking at this year's UN General Assembly. Essentially, he focused heavily on the conflict in but that was not the only hotspot in the world where his vision and where his attention was focused, where his spotlight was placed. He did say that, quote unquote, Indonesia right now has 20,000 sons and daughters that they are ready to send as a peacekeeping force to
Sebagai pasukan
any
penjaga
war zone
perdamaian.
in the world, be it Ukraine, Sudan, Libya, basically any hotspot and any hotbed, really. He has also talked about record harvests in Indonesia that have allowed his country to help to send aid to and to at least try and alleviate some of the fallout of the humanitarian disaster, absolute catastrophe that is ravaging that land right now. That is, of course, in the form of the shipments of grain, rice, basically food that people can put in their mouths over there in a war-torn Palestine. Also, at the same time, he has once again said that they are committed, that Indonesia is committed to a two-state solution when it comes to the issue of Palestine and so on. So again, powerful and very.
Sebuah momen tak biasa dilakukan oleh seorang kepala negara. Presiden Prabowo terlihat menyalami satu persatu polisi dan mengucapkan terima kasih sebelum bertolak menuju Amsterdam, Belanda pada Rabu 24 September 2025 usai menyelesaikan kunjungan di Kanada. Bahkan seorang polisi sempat berkata kepada rekannya, seharusnya kita seperti mereka, Prabowo. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Silakan tulis pendapatmu di kolom komentar ya.
Disalami satu persatu Pak Polisi di Kanada ya. Ini barulah ada presiden. Sampai polisi Kanada pun jadi terheran-heran ya. Terheran-heran,
Muslim
guys.
leader against Muslim leader. We see Libya, Muslim leader against Muslim leader. We see Yemen, Muslim leader against Muslim leader. When will this end?
Kapan
How
berakhir?
can we help the Palestinians if we quarrel among ourselves?
Yeah.
I'm sorry I have to say this, because I attend so many of the summits and all we do is give declarations of support. The Muslim countries realize what is happening. We are not being respected. They do not care about our voice. Once again I say, they do not care about our voice.
Tidak peduli dengan
Human
suara
rights
kami.
is not for Muslim people. This is the reality. This is very sad. Let us do what we can, but let us face reality and let us be honest with ourselves. Thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, so
Japan.
it could well be Subianto then, who is the country's next president. He's the current defence minister. What can you tell us about him, about his vision now for Indonesia?
Right, well, he's 72 years old, and he has the youngest running mate, who is Gibran Rakabuming Araka, who is the son of the outgoing President Joko Widodo. He's only 36, and this is the youngest that any running mate has been. Normally that is not allowed, because they're not allowed to run at that age. They have to be slightly older, but there's been a change to allow him to be the accompanying running mate. That has added as a huge boost to the popularity of Prabowo Subianto, because he is linked to the former regime of President Suharto, which was a harsh dictatorial regime that fell in 1998 after 32 years in power.
Once again, we must learn from the geopolitical situation that's happening around us now. Without unity, without overcoming our differences, we cannot be strong. We say that we support Palestine, but if we are weak, how can we support Palestine? For that, the 8 must be united. We must work together to be united. We must leave behind our
Meninggalkan
differences.
perbedaan
We
kita.
must look
Kita
for
harus
the greater
mencari
good of our
kebaikan.
peoples. Without unity, without integration, we will be weak. And if we are weak,
Benar, kita akan lemah
we
tanpa
will
integrasi.
be exploited. That is the law of history.
Tuh, ucapan Pak Prabowo guys. Sejak dilantik sebagai Presiden, Prabowo langsung menunjukkan sikap yang sangat berani. Dia tidak hanya bicara tentang keamanan dalam negeri, tapi juga berdiri di panggung dunia untuk menyuarakan suara umat Muslim. Keberanian ini membuat banyak negara besar, termasuk anggota NATO, terpaksa memberi perhatian lebih karena jarang ada pemimpin dari Asia Tenggara yang mampu berbicara setegas itu di hadapan dunia. Indonesia adalah negara dengan penduduk Muslim terbesar di dunia. Ketika kekuatan besar ini dipimpin oleh seorang presiden yang tegas dan berani, wajar saja guys, negara lain merasa waspada. NATO yang biasanya fokus ke Eropah dan Timur Tengah kini sadar bahawa kekuatan baru itu tidak boleh dianggap remeh. Dari solidaritas kemanusiaan sampai dukungan pada isu-isu global, Muslim Indonesia selalu tampil aktif dan semakin diperhitungkan. Keberanian Prabowo memberi inspirasi besar. Beberapa negara mulai menilai bahawa cara Indonesia menjaga kedaulatan dan membela umat Muslim bisa menjadi contoh. Bahkan ada analisis yang mengatakan sikap tegas Presiden Indonesia ini bisa mempengaruhi arah kebijakan negara-negara NATO sendiri. Bayangkan guys, Indonesia yang dulu sering dipandang sebelah mata, ya, kini justru jadi referensi moral dan kekuatan politik dunia. Jadi jelas guys, keberanian Presiden Prabowo di panggung dunia bukan hanya bikin bangga rakyat Indonesia, tapi juga bikin negara-negara NATO gemetar dan berpikir ulang. Inilah bukti kalau Indonesia bukan lagi pemain kecil di dunia, tapi kekuatan besar yang disegani. Oke guys, jika ada pendapat dan info ingin berbagi di sini, nah silakan saja tulis di ruangan kolom komentar ya. InsyaAllah kita akan bisa ketemu lagi di video-video akan datang. Sampai jumpa lagi. I love you Indonesia, I love you Malaysia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dadah.